So, Barb, most people choose agents that they know, like a friend, and don't really have a system for selecting the very best agent to handle one of their largest assets. What are some ways that a home seller can determine how to choose a real estate agent to sell their home and get the right one who will get them the most amount of money?
Well, Richard, it's kind of interesting because the National Association of Realtors actually has surveyed home sellers and asked them, how do they decide on what agent they're going to pick to sell their home? And when you think about it, it's one of your largest assets, right? It's a big deal. It's not the same as buying. When you buy a home, it's sort of like shopping on steroids. You hope you get a good inspector. The buyers typically are the ones that find the house. They don't need the agent to find the house. They're hoping the agent will help them negotiate repairs and negotiate the contract, but not finding. But the way a home seller picks an agent to sell a home, typically they go by referrals, they go by somebody they know or they've heard of, or sometimes they pick an agent based on whoever tells them their home will sell for the highest price, which it may not be accurate. Like the agents, oh yeah, I can get you 1.5 million, but at the end of the day, it's not going to work. And then they slowly walk the price down and you end up netting less money. But here's the problem. You're trusting somebody to help you sell one of your largest assets. And without a real system to choose in today's market, it's very easy to make a mistake. Some people will go back to their last agent, and I hear feedback all the time about, hey, I love my agent, but I think she retired. And that's wonderful. But right now, with the market shifting, the inventory has gone up. It should be, homes are flying off the shelf right now. The interest rates have gone up. We're at about 6.65% conventional, jumped up almost 3/4, so 2/3 of a point here in just a couple of weeks. Homes are taking longer to sell. It's not as easy anymore. And we're kind of leaning more and more towards a buyer's market. So buyers have choices, and you want to make sure that you get somebody that knows how to position the home to get it done. Now, there's a whole bunch of available homes. We actually have increased the number of available homes on the market by almost double since 2023, just after the Fed raised the rates. And the buyers really retracted from that because of the basic thing of affordability. I think buyers really want to buy a house, but they can't because the payment's too high with the high interest rates. That's why it's so important to pick an agent that no matter what's going on in the market, you have somebody that can help you position the home to maximize your sales price, do it in the time that you want, and do it right. And here's the really sad story. If you just look in the Pikes Peak area, which is we're the second largest, Colorado Springs is the second largest city in Colorado, followed by Denver. So Colorado Springs area agents, there's about 6,300 of them. So in this little local MLS, there are only 700 homes a month. That means every month, if all things were equal, 1 out of 9 agents are getting paid. The rest of them are not. Okay. So what kind of behavior do you think you're going to see if you've got an agent really desperate for a sale? They're going to promise you all kinds of stuff and do nothing. According to Zillow, 72% of real estate agents nationwide last year sold zero, nada, no homes, which is pathetic. It's very expensive to be in the business. Most of them only sell a couple of homes a year. And a lot of them, 87% of the agents get out of the business every 5 years. So if you look back 5 years ago, the market was red hot, flying high, watching the clouds go by. Everything was selling with bidding wars. It was a good time, right? But that's not the case anymore. It's a little bit harder to get a home sold, right? Many of these agents have never seen a correcting market. They don't know how to properly advise the seller in order to get the right results. I'm working on taking over a listing right now from someone where it's been on the market for 6 months and it's a lower priced home in good condition. And there's a couple of problems. I could see the problems when we went over it together. The marketing isn't very good. The pricing is a problem. And they're like, well, we don't want to lose money. I'm like, yeah, but you bought in 2022, right? And since then, the prices have corrected 10%. You have to look at it realistically and just deal with the market as it is right now if you want to get it sold fast. But I think if you're waiting for the prices to come back up again, it might take some time. And so, you know, right now, when we're seeing average days on market over 100 days, we're selling homes in just a week or two versus months. And it's all about the seller's decision on pricing. That's key. And that's the way we get it done, is we help them properly price. We got the marketing part covered, but it's the pricing part that can really throw a sale off. And generally, what sellers are looking for are things like the agent has a good track record of recent sales, but some home sellers don't want to ask that question. They're afraid of the awkward moment when they say, how many homes have you sold? Would you ask that question, Richard?
Well, you know what? If I were taking your advice and I was trying to find somebody to represent me, I would absolutely ask that question. How many homes have you sold? Because as you just said, a lot of people have hardly sold any homes. I'm not going to give my home, one of my biggest investments, over to them.
Yeah. How many homes have you sold? How many homes have you sold in the area? You know, how many homes have you sold in the year? There's a lot of agents that kind of squirm and don't want to answer that question, or what they feed you is maybe the whole brokerage statistics without really telling you what they are doing. But it's important for home sellers to make sure that they're working with an agent with a team, right? And the reason I say that is, let's say one agent is on an appointment showing or doing something like that, and then you get a phone call about that house. Most home sellers want that call answered, right? You need to have a team to do that. I've had, I get this all the time. So one of the things that we put on our signs is a rider that's designed to get buyers to call us. And it says, open house every day, call for times. Now, I'm truly not going to do an open house every day. Richard, what would you think if you saw a sign like that?
That sounds desperate to me, especially knowing that if I'd hired you, I could get 10, 20, 30, 80, 100 people in one day to come through my house.
Yeah.
Sounds
Well, what
desperate.
happens is we keep that sign out there to see if there's more buyers calling, because we don't know, even if it goes under contract, we don't know if that buyer that we have under contract might walk away. So we keep marketing until the deal is really firm. And we'll get buyers calling going, well, it says that you're doing an open house today. You know, I said, it does. Just last weekend, I had this call. I said, yes, it does. We're willing to do by appointment showings. Um, are you working with an agent? And they said, yes, but it says open house. I'm like, well, maybe your agent could show you the house. They want me to do it for them. And I'm like, sometimes I'd love to, when I get agents that call me and ask me to show their buyer, they don't want to be bothered to be in person to show their buyer, right? I feel like saying to them, would you like me to just send you a check? Would that make you happy? Someday I'm going to do it because they don't want to do the work, but they want the money. Would that impress you, Richard?
No, I have to tell you, you set the standard, and anything that is not up to your standard does not impress me. And that is the majority of the people that are out there, sadly.
Yeah, and the purpose of that sign is basically to get buyers to call to answer their questions. If they are working with an agent, that's fine. If they're not, then my next step is going to find out if they can buy a house. I've also had buyers call me and say they wanted to see the house. And I'm like, great. Are you working with an agent? No. Okay. Have you already gotten your financing ready to go? No, we just want to see the house. Now, if you're a home seller, Richard, do you want just any person to come see your house just because they want to see it?
No, I do not. I'd like them to be filtered through you to separate the riff from the raff, the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, I mean, you want to know that people coming through your house can buy. So, but you know, the state doesn't mandate that agents verify the buyers can buy. That's how Realtor.com, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, and Zillow became billion-dollar companies. They created a better mousetrap and a better website than our MLS system. They put it out there for the world. The buyers look at it. They go, oh, I like that house. They click on the button thinking they're going to get the listing agent, but they don't. They get some random agent that's paying for buyer leads. And guess what the agent's going to do? They're going to pop tart out of the toaster, go show the house, and they don't know if that buyer can buy a couch on Craigslist, let alone their home. So there's ways to handle that to prevent the riffraff from getting in. And that's just some of the good questions that you should ask. And it really can be a mistake to hire the wrong agent that doesn't do that kind of vetting and really protect you from having, the wrong people come through your home, or having bad marketing, or having the agents ghost you, because they don't have anything to say because your house is not selling. It's quite a process, and you really want to hire the person that does this regularly, that's able to really get results. And one of the things that we're offering our clients is it's a series of a couple of reports that you can get on my website. It's called Free Agent Selection Guide, where you can actually download it. It gives you questions, some common mistakes that agents make, and a selection guide to help you decide what are the questions that you should be asking agents when you're getting ready to sell your home, and what's most important when it's time to sell. Richard?
So we're talking, Barb, about selling your home, getting the very best real estate agent that is you, as far as I'm concerned. Do you want to switch over and give people an idea of some of your hot new listings, what you've got out there this week?
Absolutely. I've got some beautiful ones. We've got really pretty rancher down in Monte Vista, Colorado, in the mid twos, a beautiful townhome in the southwest part of town on Autumn Heights. That gorgeous townhome is priced in the upper mid twos. And then a gorgeous rancher, move-in ready, stunning home on 10890 Cascading Springs in the low fives. Really, really beautiful, pristine home. Getting lots of calls on this one on 10330 Mill Creek Drive in the D20 school district, price at $724,900. That one's going to be open this weekend. Another home that's open this weekend at 3475 Harbor Island in Briargate in the low fives. And then we have a beautiful home, almost new home on Gold King down in Pueblo in the upper threes. That seller is offering a VA assumption. And then we've got many more. To find out about all of our coming soon homes, go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on featured properties. One of them we're getting calls on is on Warriors Path out in Peyton on 5 acres, gorgeous ranch. Another beautiful one in the 80908 zip code in D20 on Stone Creek, and many, many more. I love the one on Judge Orr Road. It's on 80 acres with 2 barns, an auxiliary dwelling unit, a gorgeous custom ranch style home. It is like hobby farm heaven out there. Plus a beautiful 2.15 million home on 35 acres in Florissant with a spectacular outbuilding, also with its own apartment, and a gorgeous lot on Hidden Valley out in Lake George, close to all the recreation. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday, and if you're thinking of making a move, you can call Barb at 719-301-3900, or as always, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or you can listen to the podcast on all of the podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thank you for listening this week. And again, to reach out to Barb, that number is 719-301-3900. Thanks for listening, Barb. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.